Hello everybody, my name is Benjamin Bloom. We are live on YouTube reviewing today's championship action. If you are in the stream, do make yourself known and get involved in the chat about today's games. It could have been a quite significant day in terms of the championship picture at both ends of the table. I was complaining in my preview show, is it already locked up at the top and down at the bottom? Well, both of the top two dropping points, a draw for West Brom, a defeat for Leeds, and Barnsley keep up the challenge at the bottom. So the gap at the top down to 6 points now. Fulham and Brentford both take advantage of the top two dropping points. Could get interesting, could turn out to be nothing, but we will see. Let's start up at the top there. It was Charlton 2, West Brom 2. West Brom taking over the leadership of the division again on the day that the top two both dropped below 2 points per game. Remember, we've said it needs to be a big run from one of the challengers and a big drop off from the top two. And could be the start of it. Who knows? Louis says Fulham and Brentford catching up. Couldn't get worse for us. He's got a QPR badge in there, so he's got a vested interest in that not happening. Zahor with the opener. He does it again at the Valley. Obviously scored there, the winner in the FA Cup. Gets a bit lucky here. He robs Lockyer. Sarr makes the first block. It bounces right back to him. It's a nice finish in the end, though, from Zahor, his second goal at that venue in a week. The equaliser doesn't take long, 6 minutes, and Davison nods in from Sarr's, not from. West Brom come out fighting after the second half, scores straight away. Phillips low cross from the right. Robson Kanu is there. He diverts it. I think there's a deflection, helps give that a little bit of air up into the roof of the net. It's 2-1. But Charlton get back for the equaliser. 76. Big deep cross. Lockyer, big header. I think Johnston touches it, then it hits the post, then it comes back off the post, hits Johnston and goes in. There you go, own goal for Johnston. Bit unlucky if he tips it onto the post in the first instance. So 2-2, again it was 2-2 in the first game between these two, wasn't it? So West Brom are now, and I tweeted this, 13th in the form table for the last 6 games. No wins in 5. 8 points in the last 7, since obviously 18 points in 6 and a 6-game winning streak. So massive slowdown for West Brom. The other teams have managed to put up numbers in that time, specifically Brentford, Forest and Fulham there. I'm seeing 10 points, and crikey, 13 for Brentford. So you can see how it's been swallowed up. Still though, a 7-point gap from West Brom down to Brentford in third. They need to start winning again, do the Baggies. As I said, Charlton drew 2-2 at the Hawthorns. So in isolation, this is a good point, but bigger picture, they've lost ground to Birmingham today. Charlton are trying to fight to get out of the bottom 6, but really the quicksand is kind of pulling them downwards and has been for a long time. 1 point in the last 3 games since they got that elusive win. 8 points in 15. You look at Huddersfield, you look at Stoke just below them, far wealthier. You can just see Charlton, heading more towards the bottom 4 than out of the bottom 6. And God, 8 points in 15. Well, there's 20 games to go. If they do 8 points in the next 15, then they will not be looking very strong at all, currently sitting on 29. So West Brom first, Charlton 19th, despite West Brom going up a place. Bit of a sense of a downward trend for sides there. Need to pick up the results. Leeds dropped off the top and they lose at home to Sheffield Wednesday. Gary Monk does it again against Bielsa. Leeds 0, Wednesday 2. They sat in there and then he got the 2 goals late. Murphy on 87 minutes Newey sends him through. Lovely ball by the big guy. Murphy smashes it in on the angle. Casilla goes with his feet. I think he expects Murphy to go across. He gets good power on the shot, beats him on the near post. And then the breakaway on 94. Bannon, lovely ball down the left. Reach is there. He cuts it back, and who would have known? Newey arrives onto it. Beautiful finish into the top corner. 2-0 Wednesday. So Leeds drop down to second with West Brom getting the point. The gap is down to 6. Could have been worse, but we'll come on to that when we talk about the Forest game. They don't get the win. And the slowdown is real, same as West Brom. Leeds 17th in the form table over the last 6 games. That 7 straight win streak. Strange how the two teams are mirroring each other's seasons and results, really. 6 points in the last 6. As I've said, over the same period, Brentford have taken 13. That's why it has closed up. You may think I'm being harsh on these two teams at the top, but they set the standards so high to pull away that we're just reporting a downturn that is happening for both teams. They're still very, very well placed, and 3 wins, a draw and a defeat in the next 5, and I'm sure they'll be absolutely set. But if either of them continue with draws and/or defeats, that gap will close up, and we will get a race. And for the neutral, that's what we want. If you're a Leeds and West Brom fan, you want it to be as straightforward as possible and plain sailing. Not happening yet, though. Wednesday, great win off the back of 3 straight defeats for them. Back into the top 6. Swansea can take them out of there with a win, I believe, tomorrow. Monk now he's the man to go to if you want to do Bielsa here. 2 victories for Birmingham last season, a win and a draw this season for Wednesday. So look at that, 3 wins and a draw over Bielsa. Gary Monk, good work by him indeed. Leeds 2nd, Wednesday 6th. Brentford 3, QPR 1. I did a full review on this earlier. That is elsewhere on the channel. Check that out. But we'll just go through the nuts and bolts of this. Brentford sweeping QPR away with a brilliant sort of 15-minute first half performance. Tony says Brentford front 3 looking ridiculously dangerous. Totally agree with that, Tony. You just worry if one of those gets injured. They need to keep them fit all and for possible playoffs as well. Ben Rama opens the scoring on 19. It's a clever free kick. He's onto it and he sweeps it into the far corner. On 23, and Mbuemo scores yet again. In behind, watches it down, prods home on the volley with the outside of the left foot. Watkins, another set play. Pinnock knocks this one back, and Watkins puts it home for his 18th goal of the season. QPR get back into it on 62. Nice 1-2. Probably the best goal of the game, actually. Nice 1-2. Samuel and Amos to take Henry out of the game. Samuel slides it across for Wells to pop in. That will I think that's his 12th of the season. I've got the figures later in the script here. Brentford with the hammer down now. 3rd win in the last 4, and it needed somebody to get into 3rd spot. Everyone else who's done it, I've said it, Bristol City, Preston, Fulham, Sheffield Wednesday even, Forest, all got up to 3rd and all dropped away and just let Leeds and West Brom go into the distance. Brentford are putting the hammer down now. They've been in good form since November international break, basically, which now feels like a long time to be playing well. 6 straight home wins, and it's kind of in Brentford's hands. If they want to do this, they can do it at Griffin Park, because they've still got Leeds, West Brom, Forest and Sheffield Wednesday to play at Griffin Park. I get the argument, their home record is good because they haven't played any of those teams, but maybe they can do the damage they need to. That is 4 out of the other 5 members of the top 6 still to go to Griffin Park in their remaining 10 home games. It's a hard run, but you want the big games, and they're playing well down there in those last 10 games now, without playoffs, obviously, at the stadium. QPR, they're now up to 51 goals against. Only Luton on the bottom there have a worse number. Rangers had those 2 big wins, 5-1 and 6-1 against the 2 Welsh sides, but 8 defeats in the last 14 in the league confirms that slide down from the playoff back down towards 15th place, looking at that bottom quartile there. bit flaky, easy to score against is the problem with Rangers this season, isn't it? Brentford 3rd, Rangers 15th. On we go. It was Hull 0, Fulham 1. Calvo says, "Oh dear, Ben, Leeds not good for us indeed." Remember the title race last season? It just takes that one extra team to get into, to make it a 3-horse race, and panic then can ensue, as we saw last season with Leeds, didn't we? Hull 0, Fulham 1. Caballero celebrating, joining permanently. Typical goal from him, really. If you had to guess a Caballero goal, it would be this one, just coming in off the left, finding the space. I'm sure all the keepers have this scouted, but he's so good at this finish, curls it into the top corner. My pleasure, Calvo, in the chat. Fulham avenged the 0-3 reverse they got from Hull at Craven Cottage. 3rd win in the last 5, so 10 points in 5 games, and you're comparing that to 2 for West Brom and 4 for Leeds. So they have put down the hammer a little bit. They are inconsistent, Fulham, but there's a lot of defeats and there's a lot of wins, rather like Brentford. The big issue here, however, is Mitrovic stretchered off. We'll wait and see what the problem is there, but you would think if Mitrovic misses anything above 6 or 7 games, that could impact badly on Fulham's season. They could put Abubakar Kamara down the middle there. They've still got the strength out wide. Arta has come back, but such a good player, Mitrovic, joint top scorer in the league now with Watkins. That could be an issue. We'll await. I don't know if there's any Fulham in the chat. Can let me know, but could be bad news for Fulham. Hull, they got up to 9th, had a run of 4 wins in 5 games in all comps. 2nd straight home defeat after 5 wins in 7 at the K-Com. Fulham into 4th and taking advantage, yes, of the top 2, and Hull down to 11th, but still in the madcap scramble. If you notice, it's just started to stretch out the past 2 game weeks, hasn't it? It was so condensed. I think we've had a bit of a decisive teams having 2 good results and teams having 2 poor results, and it's just concertinaed a little bit outwards, hasn't it? On we go. Reading 1, Forest 1. And there was a point here where I looked down at my phone and Watson had given Forest the lead on 96, and you think, God, this really has swung. If Forest had have won that, then I really would have said this was a significant day, but they don't. It's 1-1 in the end. One of those horrible games where you think you've won it late on, and there's one attack left, and it goes against you. So Forest take the lead on 96 minutes. Martin talking about Graham Jones at Luton. Need a new manager there. We'll come on to Luton in a little bit. Another defeat for them. So, yeah, Forest get a set play on 96. Worrell does brilliantly to keep the corner alive. Puts it back to Watson, who scored a couple of similar goals from this position at the City Ground this season. Puts the volley in. You think you've won the game. 96 minutes, 3 points, 4th straight win, gap to 6 points, game in hand. Win the game in hand, you're 3 points behind. But no, Reading do what you should do. A Little Crow says Forest did much the same against Millwall in their 2-2 draw. Interesting. Throw everything forward. And Figueiredo, bless him, is just trying too hard. The cross goes in to the near post. He tries to slide and keep it out. If you're an Ipswich fan, Jamie Clapham against Charlton in the playoffs, you've seen this own goal. Slides in. The goal's on his blind side, so the keeper stitched up really, half swipes at it and it goes in on the near post. Very unlucky. A millimetre more and he puts it out for another corner. Fine margins, isn't it? Forest will be disappointed. It didn't sound like the best game, but a win there really would have put the fear up the top 2, I think, with a sense that there were 3 teams charging at them, and that would have been all 4 of the playoff teams winning on the same day. John says Jamie Clapham, good left back for us. John, I have it on good authority that Jamie Clapham's one of the fittest players. Could have actually been a middle distance runner. He was on the staff at Barnsley at some point, I remember. I can't remember who he worked for. I remember there being some issue with someone getting removed from a job there and him having to go with him. Allegedly, I didn't say Clapham did anything wrong. So big implications for that goal. Like I say, with the win, Forest would have been 6 points behind with games against Luton and Reading at home to go 3 points off the top 2. And we know that Forest have Leeds to visit, and they're going to be down at Brentford. I'll be at that game at the end of January. So it's there for Brentford and it's there for Forest if the top two keep around that 1.5 points per game type run. It's there for one of these teams. They can damage each other, but you think they could do it. Still a run of 10 points in the last 4 games, and 4 of the next 6 at home. John says, remember Clapham from the Trevor Francis days. Joy, hey. Reading, they keep up their momentum. And look, you take a point when you go a goal down in the 96th minute, don't you? 8 unbeaten. Testing times now, though, with that cup replay and the postponed Forest game. Reading have got the double 3-game week, or this, however you want to look at it, this is the first of 5 games in 2 weeks. Now, I know they'll take the reserves up to Blackpool, but going to be difficult. You can see a defeat going. Now, Malcolm says Brentford 6 points gap now. 1 month ago, it was 13. Yep, that is the maths. Brentford catching up. Although you would just think West Brom and Leeds can't continue on such poor points per game runs as they have been over the last 6. Forest 5th, Reading 14th. Forest again, ifs, buts, maybes. They would have been tied with Brentford on 46 in a really strong, wouldn't it be amazing, a 4-team title race? But hey, 3 will do at the moment, and I'm sure all you Leeds and West Brom fans totally disagree with me. You'd like a 1-team title race, but it's the way it's going. All teams don't really care about the title in this division until they're promoted, do they? Just want to get into the Premier League and book that TV money. Stoke 0, Millwall 0. Millwall still hanging around the edges of those playoffs and still very, very hard to beat. They stay 7th with a clean sheet. Little Crow says, amazed if there are any highlights. A game very short of any kind of quality, with both sides struggling with the strength of the wind. Always fun there at Stoke, isn't it? On the edge of the dual carriageway, they're playing in the wind at the Britannia with the corners of the stadiums open as well. Yeah, very, very windy ground. Swansea can take Millwall down a place with a win tomorrow. Still so difficult to beat, though. Even going back to the last few Neil Harris games, 3 defeats in 20 for Millwall. Superb. And they are hanging in there, doing their thing. If your Millwall draws aren't bad results. Williams with a straight red gives Millwall big problems in central midfield. Little Crow, is Thompson still out? Help me out there with the centre midfield. Jaggy says Leeds, as he always does, I think. Stoke keep putting points on the board. Gradually they're moving to a healthier spot. Little Crow says, yeah, and Leonard. Okay, so Millwall weak in the centre of midfield at the moment. We need to remember how terribly Stoke started. So for them to even be 21st with 25 points does show that they are probably going to stay up. Little Crow says Billy Mitchell likely to fill in unless some signings come on. I think Malcolm said, I'm going to put the mockers on it. I'll try my best not to. 11 points in the last 7 is good, so they're 21st. But Barnsley are chasing hard. You just look at Barnsley and Wigan and Luton trying to chase Huddersfield and Stoke. It doesn't feel a fair fight with the the financial implications. John says hopes Butland gets a move out to free up some money there. Who's going to pay for Butland after this season though? Hey, Millwall 7th. Stoke 21st. Pretty good sense about both teams really, although Stoke just need to put a bit of distance and Barnsley aren't allowing them at the moment. Cardiff versus Swansea is tomorrow. Swansea in 8th. The upside for them, they could be into the top 6 again. Cardiff in 13th, could go up as high as 11th looking at the goal difference. There, Malcolm says, am I going to put the mockers on Leeds? I have no influence on Leeds results, but yes, I will be at the Kean Prince Stadium next Saturday. I'm an unimportant YouTuber, as I say. If I've been there today, maybe some evidence, but the curse is a myth, as I've tried to debunk a million times. Wigan 0, Bristol City 2. It's not looking good for Wigan, is it? Patterson is back on loan. Strange for a guy to play for a team, go on loan for another team, have some games for them. Normally someone doesn't want them. He's back in for Bristol City and he scores the opener here. Jeju slips him through. Nice nutmeg on the keeper, 1-0. And Jeju gets the second here. Look like linked up quite nicely, actually. Lifts it over. Patterson lifts it over, and great first time as the keeper setting himself. It's already past him. I think we've all been looking for Jeju to be able to put a season together. Although from what I heard on the Robins Wire podcast listening the other day, I think if they got money from Europe, they would sell. Jaggy says, as soon as they see me in the crowd, they stop trying. I wear my Russian hat. Honestly, they won't notice me. I'm unimportant. I'm up at the back near the press in QPR. They won't notice me. I promise. Important win for Bristol City. Now that's 2 wins in 3 for Streaky Lee. I can call him that again now. Off the back of 4 straight defeats, they're off to Shrewsbury in the Cup. John says Wigan are the worst side I've seen for years. How did they beat us the other day? Malcolm says, love the channel. Thank Malcolm. Expecting some action in the market, although Dwight Gow's got hurt today, hasn't he? Which might annoy a few teams. Also, who are they linked with? Bristol City and Ketia, isn't it? So we'll see what happens there. Up to 9th, 1 point off the playoffs still. John says Wigan going down 100%. And the stats would seem to agree with you, John. They follow up their long-awaited win at Blues last time with a defeat. Barnsley nipped straight past them again. 7 without a win at home. If you think Wigan are going to stay up, then it's all going to be on the home form. It always was last season. Not happening. They won 4 of the first 6 at home. They would be well adrift if they hadn't done that. Wigan, they're only going one way if this continues. Bristol City 9th. Wigan 23rd as we head inexorably towards the bottom 4 of Charlton, Barnsley, Wigan and Luton. We can all see it coming, can't we? Blackburn 1, Preston 1. Newcastle lost Joe Linton to injury. Gale will not be allowed to leave this window. There we go. So everyone can forget that link. Still big Che Adams talk as well. He's the other guy. You'd think Leeds would be at the head of any queue given who they're. Preston 1, Preston with an army of fans they always take to Wigan and Bolton and these games up there. Earns his bit of luck here, gets a bounce, fires it home. He's having a good season, Armstrong. If you're a football manager player, you'll know that he's been highly rated for a long time and finally seeming to be an effective second tier player now. Irene says, yeah, Barnsley, how about it? Yeah, we'll go on to Barnsley in a minute on a fantastic run. 17, Harrop, good goal this one. Free kick into the edge of the box, half volley, smash back in. Lovely goal, as Barry Davis would say. Preston took their big follow in, leave with a point. The form's not good though, they're down in 10th. It's a big downturn from where they were, as I said in the preview. Remember the halcyon days when Alex Neil was linked with Stoke and they were going second. Not been good since then. 3 points in the last 5. Only 2 points off the playoffs though, so exactly the same as Bristol City. Poor run of form. It really does look like 5th and or 6th place. Unless Brentford, Fulham and Forest all continue in a good vein, which you can't see all 3 of them doing so. You'd think 5th and 6th are up for grabs. Certainly 6th is up for grabs for about 10 teams. John says Preston never really had the firepower up the top. And yeah, the way they play doesn't really link itself to having lots of chances for a strike. They're more for the number 10 and the wide guy. Speaking of wide guys, Scott Sinclair has a 10-minute cameo at the end here. Blackburn stay in the top half. Same deal as Preston though. 3 points in 5 games. Poor run after that extraordinary run prior to it. Big drop off. A little bit of a gap now from Rovers and the Chasers compared to how congested it was. Preston 10th. Blackburn 12th. Who was that? BFC. Ben says, what a win for Barnsley. Coming on to them in a couple of games' time. Borough 2, Derby 2. Borough in really, really good form and Derby on a nice little sort of 2-3 game run. 2-2 here. Wing, brilliant goal this one. Roberts down the right. I had bigged him up, I promise. Watch the preview. Elliot asked, how was Scott Sinclair's debut? If we got any Preston or Blackburn in the chat, can let us know. I haven't seen any numbers on that. Yeah, Roberts down the right. Tavernier, first time back heel. Wing, woof. Right-footed, doesn't smash it, curls it into the corner, in off the post. Love that goal. Brilliant stuff from Wing, who has probably got 4 or 5 long ranges now. Maybe exaggerating that, but definitely scored one on the opening day when I saw Borough draw at Luton. Knight with the equaliser, complete fluke this one in the wind there, sails in, cross over the keeper's head. Great drive into the box again by Roberts, looking good. Looked like Woodgate wants to play a number 9 with 2 tucked in, dare I say, like Liverpool do. Well, I suppose they're a front 3, but it's just sort of 2 number 10s-ish, if you know what I mean, a triangle up the top there, with Roberts on the right of that. He gets taken down. McNair puts the penalty in. He's having a good season too. But it's a late equaliser for Derby. They're chasing, the ball's loaded in, headed clear. Holmes, 20-yarder on the volley there. Curtis Davies is kind of collapsing in front of the goalkeeper in an offside position by the looks of it, but it's a great volley by Holmes, dipping and bouncing into the corner. Great finish, 2-2. Informed Borough here, so they're denied another win by the late equaliser. Would have been a 5th straight win in the league, would have also been a 5th straight home win simultaneously, but very much glass half full at Borough. Woodgate manager of the month, Roberts in and contributing, 10 points above the bottom 3, 16th position, 20 points in the last 10 games. 10 games ago, I had them in my bottom 6 for sure, and Woodgate's done really, really well. It shows no signs of being a flash in the pan. Really good work by Borough, and a thumbs up from me. Derby are 5 unbeaten in all competitions, 8 points in the last 4, which is nice run. Despite the late escape today, they need the away win though. Their away form is really killing them. I saw their only away win on the opening weekend up at Huddersfield. Bit of a Tom Lawrence super show there, but nothing since. However, Bogle has returned. Bird looks good, the young guy with learning from Rooney in that team there. Huddleston and Martin are back in, so a few more faces. Lawrence back as well. Upward trend, I think, for the Rams, although I hear the comments saying upward trend, they're 17th. But what I'm saying is maybe that's bottomed out for the season, and now everything moves on from sort of Boxing Day onwards, and they will pick up. You can't see them. Where are they? And yeah, the bottom 8, you can't see them finishing the bottom 8. Surely not. Playoff finalists last year. Frank Lampard's, Wayne Rooney's, Derby County, Borough 16th, Derby 17th. 2 more to go here. Luton 1, Birmingham 2. Bella down the left, and if you wanted a looping back post cross and you wanted any player in the league arriving on that, it would be Jutkovic. He's an absolute beast on the back post, isn't he? Always seems to score from those chances, opens the scoring there, excuse me. Pulling in the box, and Luton get penalty on 62. Collins puts that one home. That must be nearly double figures for Collins now, which in such a poor results team is pretty good, isn't it, for James Collins? Gardner, 69, wins it in midfield, sets Magoma down the right. He continues to run. It's a nice goal, this, and slides it in. John says Dean sending off very harsh. And I think there was a comment on Derby there. Resend that. It just disappeared before. I'm holding back a sneeze. Is it ever going to come? My God. So, yeah, Dean gets the red card on 86, second yellow there. Birmingham with the definition of a, quote, must-needed win here. They won in the Cup, so it's actually 2 wins in a row for Blues. However, in the league, 5 defeats in 6 before this. First win in 7. 3-point gap between Blues and the bottom 6. They want to keep that and try and push up into that 3rd quartile there. Well, they're already in it, but you know what I mean, push up further. Luton is just horrendous now, having got back into it. Villarreal off back to Valencia. Oh dear. Was there a home win in this weekend? Someone asks. Let's have a look. There must have been. Yeah, Barnsley, Huddersfield will do it next, and Brentford, QPR. But the point I take, home team's not doing very well here. Luton, 13 defeats in 17. Horrendous. Josh with a Forest badge said the referee should have blown his whistle after we scored. Yeah, they always add on an extra minute for a goal, don't they? You know there's going to be another long ball to defend, don't you? Luton, at least they've won 3 of the 4 games that they haven't lost out of the 13, so they can win games. They've actually got more wins than Barnsley. But 18 defeats for the season for Luton, not good at all. I had some hope for them today because they'd won in the bottom of the table, bottom 8 clash. Robin says Group 3. Or Group of 3 are coming for Leeds. Yeah, there's a chance. There is a chance. No good today. I said they've beaten Wigan and Charlton at home at Kenilworth, but no good. John says felt for the Luton manager. He said financial wise they can't compete. Hey, that might be the case. You go up, you take the money. They'd already cashed in on Stacey and Justin, hadn't they? Just need to get to that new ground. Luton. Malcolm says, who is my 3 to go down? I can tell you my bottom 4 at the moment is Charlton, Barnsley, Wigan and Luton. I can't tell you my 3 to go down. Do I think Leeds will bottle it? Not sure. Not sure about that. I don't think they will. Just depends on injuries and transfer window. Resend that Forest comment there. They disappeared. Martin says that's an excuse for Luton, and I think he's a Luton fan, so we will take his opinion. Blues 18th, Luton 24th in the bottom there. Robbie says Forest game should have been 0-0. Ball went out. Forest players admitted, so justice was served with us getting the goal. Interesting. Oh, what, from the hook back from the corner? Okay. See, VAR would have had that one. Robin says, a bit like Norwich in the Premier League, shows the difference between Premier League and Championship with no investment. Yeah, Josh agrees with me there. To be fair, our goal would have been ruled out for VAR. Oh, I was praising Worrell for cutting that back. John says Leeds needs a forward without a new one, considering falling short. Again, I think Bielsa agrees with you. Robbie says draw a fair result in the Reading Forest game. Right, on to Barnsley and Huddersfield. Barnsley impressive still under Gerhard Struber. 2-1, they win in the Yorkshire Derby. Mowat with the opener. Brown, nice work for the assist, slides it across. Mowat taps in. Mowat's had a really good whole season. Brown's had a very good run since Struber arrived. So is Connor Chaplin, who was the player of the month. This is a brilliant goal as well. Brown crosses it. Check this one out if you can see it. Chaplin's first touch is superb. He kills it, opens his body, which gives him a little bit of time, and then gives the keeper the eyes and puts it in the corner. Robin says Barnsley firing away. Great goal by Chaplin. Really lovely stuff there. Obviously deserving there of his Player of the Month award for December. O'Brien, another brilliant goal here. Lashes this one in on the half volley, arriving on the left foot, but Barnsley hold out for the win. Huddersfield go under in this Yorkshire Derby. It was a 6-pointer. Barnsley closed the gap up to 4 points. And the chase, remember, that could have been 10 points if Huddersfield had have won. So big margin there in these 6-pointers. I think Huddersfield have won enough under the Cowleys not to be comfortable enough, not in the way that Borough have gone up so rapidly. There was a commenter there, I just missed the name, saying the chasing pack smell blood with Leeds and West Brom. Barnsley, yeah, it's big thumbs up from me. Excellent under Struber. Had been 3 without a victory, but good bounce back from the defeat at Derby. 4th win for Struber. Robbie says, kind of hopes Barnsley stay up, have a young, modest squad. Yeah. Josh says people underestimate Forest. And John says, reconnect. And we are back. My apologies, the connection went. I'm on floor 3 of my house. Robbie says Reading linked with Glenn Murray. Him and Charlie Adam would be like a fine wine. Excellent. Yeah, more on Barnsley. 4th win for Struber in his 11 games. 15 points in the last 9. When you look at these teams who've come from miles away to make these runs, you just know they have to do it for so long. It's almost like Barnsley would need another 15 points in the next 9 just to get them to 39, to give them a chance over the last 10 games. But I agree with the commenter there that they're kind of fun, Barnsley, with these young European players, and the upside seems good. So, yeah, I like it. I feel like they're gunning at Charlton rather than Huddersfield and Stoke, I have to say, given Huddersfield and Stoke just wealth advantage there. Huddersfield 20th, Barnsley 22nd. Yeah, and in terms of that 6-pointer, could have been so different. Could have been, like I say, 10-point gap. So, like I said at the start of the video, it's kind of good today that we haven't had, say, Leeds and West Brom winning and defeats, because you really would start looking at this and think, oh, this is all wrapped up. We'll just focus on the playoffs. So, hey, it's the Championship. Anything can happen. Let's do the top scorers, and then we'll get your guys in the feed ideas on performance of the day, goal of the day, and match of the day. We have Wells in the goals. He's on 12 with Grant and Fletcher. Grabban's still on 14. Bowen on 16. We have Watkins in the goals. He's joined Mitrovic on 18, and Mitro is hurt, so you would think Watkins will be overtaking him in the next 2-3 games. Okay, so performance of the day. Barnsley win, Birmingham win, Bristol City win, Fulham win, Brentford win. We've got to go for Sheffield Wednesday, haven't we? Yeah, Robin says 100%. Robbie, last minute of the game award, yeah. Let's go for Sheffield Wednesday for performance of the day. Any away win at Leeds this season is probably going to be close up there. Little Crow says the cameraman at Stoke. Goal of the day. Well, I've got to go for that first Borough goal. Check that one out. Slid down the line by Roberts, inside, back heel. And I do like long range goals, but there is some times where you think that's just a guy with good technique hammering it at the goal as hard as he could. Whereas wing, he gets pace on it, but he really curls it right into the corner and in off the post. So I'm going for wing for goal of the day. Match of the day. We had a 2-2 at Borough, didn't we? But with a bit of a jammy goal. The first half at Brentford was really good. We had a 2-2 at Charlton and West Brom. Who knows? Alex says, do I think Barnsley will stay up? You can see Charlton replacing them. On current form, yeah, Barnsley will replace Charlton. One's trending upwards and one's trending downwards. But it's just a long time for Barnsley to keep playing as well. By any chance, do you know whether Shrewsbury's Josh Laurent is very good? I don't know who he's been linked to. I've seen Shrewsbury play this season, and I don't recall, to be honest. Ipswich hammered them, to be honest. So, yeah, I can't offer you any more on that. Josh says, who are going to finish in the 3rd to 6th positions? You think higher than likely chance that the top two will stay the same, despite all we've said about the chase. You think Brentford, Fulham and Forest would stay in there. I can't see Brentford or Fulham dropping out of it. 6th place, I'm not sure it'll be Wednesday. I'm not sure it'll be Millwall. Got a weird feeling for Bristol City. I know. Darkstar says, win of the day in the EFL is Ipswich. Thank you very much. There we go. Robin says, Wednesday, Fulham, Forest, Brentford as it is at the moment. I can just see Bristol City signing a good striker and doing some weird 8 wins in 10 run. Robbie says Leeds, and Hart says Reading in the playoffs. There we go. So, yeah, right. Any questions in the feed and I will take them. And I will say thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It's been a long one, hasn't it? 37 minutes thus far. Obviously, follow me on Twitter at Benjamin Bloom. Subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. Support monetarily on Patreon. If no questions come in, here's one there. Malcolm says Bielsa overrated, has won any domestic honours. I think he's won one in Argentina, hasn't he? The Forest fan there said a decent backup striker. They're in for Nketiah as well, and we're interested in Gale. So I think they're in the same market, Leeds, Forest and Bristol City. Robin says, any grounds to visit this season? And Josh says, best goalie in the league. I have done all of the grounds. Yes, I have. Who got promoted? Yeah. So I'm clear for all of the grounds. I haven't done them all this season, but I've done them all. Best goalie in the league. Well, it was Casilla up until they actually started conceding. Samba has been excellent. I'm sure he wants me to say. And you're starting to look at people with distribution now as well, certainly with Casilla and Bentley at Bristol City and Raya at Brentford. So, yeah, probably Casilla and Samba are the two. Who do I think can replace Graham Jones? Asked Martin. He seems certain he's going to go. Nathan Jones, would you have him back? Best keeper in the league. Oh, yeah, good mention for Raphael. He was in with a shout for Player of the Month. Yeah, that's a fair comment there, Raphael at Reading. Any more questions and I will take them. If not, I think it's a late night dog walk for me. If Leeds don't go up, will Bielsa go? I would have thought so. I think, well, it depends how they don't do it. I think if it were another playoff defeat, we will see. Most exciting player in the Championship at the moment is probably Ben Rama, isn't it? Only on the basis Hernandez has had lots of injuries this season. we're blessed with some good ones. I think Dejan Garner's been really good for West Brom. I think Mitrovic has been great for Fulham. A little bit let down by Cavaliero and Knockout. I thought they would absolutely tear it up, but there you go. Love Bannon for Wednesday. Wallace has been great for Millwall. Byers has been good for Swansea. Robin says, have Brentford ever been top division? Pass on that one. Bristol City, I like Eliasson, even though I can't get in the team. Preston Johnson started the season brilliantly. Josh says, do you think Benrahma will leave this window? If Aston Villa bid over 20 million, then yes, for the right price. And Malcolm says Brentford in the mid 30s. Yeah, Swift I would have got onto for Reading for sure. He's their standout player. Blackburn, Dak's been really good. I think Travis has been good as well. QPR, you've got a choice of Eze, Chair and Bright Samuel now. Some really good ones there. Borough, Tavernier, Roberts now, look out for him. Derby, Rooney. Yeah, Dak is injured at the moment. Blues, well, obviously Bellingham. Josh says Thiago Silva for Forest. I would say grab and just quality at this level. Robin says someone has to buy Bowen. Yeah, we're looking for those big domino deals, aren't we? We're looking for Bowen or Benrahma. Would just be interesting for Brentford to say no, but then you do look at Brentford and you think they wouldn't blink. They know the model. They know what they're doing. They would probably say, okay, no, we've got a long-term plan here. Even if we sell Benrahma, it would have to be big money, wouldn't it? Malcolm says Janssen or White. I would go for White. I think I've seen him play a few times. He's been very good. Although Mitrovic gave him a hard time in the first half of the game I saw at Fulham. But yeah, like I was just saying about Brentford, if they've got a 5-year plan, and there could be a scenario that they go into next season in their new stadium, still in the Championship. Maybe they've lost in the playoffs, but maybe they've cashed in on Benrahma, and maybe instead of £2 million signings like Mopai was, there's another few £3, £4, £5 million signings like Mbeumo was. So there we go. Robin says, great coverage, make it a full-time job. If someone pays me the money, I will do it. Josh says, when am I coming to a Forest game again? I will be at Brentford versus Forest on the 28th, Tuesday night game. So look out for that. I'll probably be in Mr. Dawes' post-match vlog there. So I was a good luck charm for Forest last time. Actually, last two times I've seen them beat Derby and handsomely win at QPR. Right. Yeah, Josh says that'll be a really tough game. But when I look at teams who could go to Brentford and do well, I do think Forest is one. You want a strong team shape, you want strong concentration, you want 15, 20 metres back to front, and Forest can definitely do that and not to get moved around by all their pretty football. So you saw like Huddersfield go there and win, didn't you? So I would say don't be too terrified, Forest. When is the Forest catch-up game? It's midweek next week. So yeah, Forest, and they've got Luton at home, and the way Luton are going, that'll be 47 points. So yeah, Forest could potentially be on 50 points in 2 games' time. Right, I've said farewell about 20 times. Apologies for the disconnect. It's very windy here. I'll blame that on the internet. And I will see you all very, very soon. Blue Monday podcast tomorrow, but that's all Ipswich, so you guys are probably not remotely interested in that. I'll be at Ipswich versus Oxford on Tuesday night. We will do a transfer window. I think Malcolm's asking who's coming up from League One. Portsmouth mobilising, Sunderland mobilising, Rotherham looking good, and hopefully bloody Ipswich coming back up. There we go. We will see. Wickham on a bit of a downturn now, aren't they? Look out for Liam Kelly at Oxford. I don't want to look out for Liam Kelly at Oxford. I know he's a quality player. Yeah, he will punish us. But Rotherham winning at Oxford today. Josh asked about a transfer window. I did an update last week, midweek. We'll do another one this week. We've got Sinclair to talk about now. We've got Cavaliero to talk about. I think we're going to see someone in at Bristol City very, very soon, aren't we? I think we're going to see someone in at Leeds. It's going to be loans until one of the big boys gets permission from their owner to, throw 20 million at Bowen or 20 million at Benrahma. So, yeah, and there will be definitely one at the end of the window. Right, definite farewell here. We're coming up 45 minutes. It's goodbye from me. Go and enjoy the highlights and the rest of your evening. Thank you.